Sophie Cunningham just dropped a truth bomb about Caitlin Clark that nobody saw coming, and it's forcing the entire WNBA to face an uncomfortable reality they've been trying to hide. What she revealed isn't just about one player's struggles, it's about a system that might be breaking its brightest stars before they even have a chance to shine. And trust me, once you hear what Sophie exposed, you'll understand why the league is scrambling to control the narrative. Before we dive into this shocking revelation, make sure to hit that like button if you're ready for the unfiltered truth about what's really happening behind closed doors in the WNBA. Your support helps us bring you these exclusive stories that mainstream media won't touch. Sophie Cunningham has built a reputation as the WNBA's most fearless truth teller, and she's paid dearly for it. In 2024 alone, the league fined her over $3,000 just for speaking her mind. First, it was $500 for calling out questionable officiating on social media, then $1,500 more for discussing referee inconsistencies on a podcast. When she dared to suggest the league plays favorites, they hit her with another undisclosed fine, basically telling her to shut up or pay up. But here's what makes Sophie different from every other player who's been silenced by fines. She keeps talking, she keeps exposing, and what she just revealed about Caitlin Clark proves exactly why her voice matters so much. During a recent podcast appearance that's now gone viral, Sophie made a statement that sent shockwaves through the basketball world. She said, and I quote, "Caitlin could be playing right now if it wasn't in the WNBA." Let that sink in for a moment. This isn't some random fan speculation or media hot take. This is coming from someone inside the league, someone who knows exactly what it takes to survive at this level. Sophie wasn't questioning Caitlin's toughness or talents. She was exposing something far more disturbing about the league itself. What happened next would shock everyone who thought they understood the WNBA's competitive landscape. Sophie went on to describe a league that's become so physically brutal, so mentally exhausting, that even generational talents like Caitlin Clark need extra time just to prepare for the onslaught. She compared WNBA games to rugby matches, where constant contact and relentless physicality have become the norm, not the exception. Players aren't just competing against each other anymore, they're fighting for survival in an environment where one wrong move, one moment of hesitation can end a career. The timing of Sophie's revelation couldn't be more significant. Caitlin Clark hasn't played since the Fever's playoff exit in September 2024, and fans have been desperately waiting for updates about her return. While the official narrative has been about rest and recovery, Sophie's comments suggest there's something much deeper at play here. She's essentially confirming what many suspected but nobody wanted to say out loud. The WNBA has become so intense that even its biggest star needs months of preparation just to step back on the court safely. But that wasn't the whole story. Sophie also exposed what she calls a two-tier system within the league, where certain players get protection from officials while others are left to endure brutal physicality without any help. This isn't just about bad calls or missed fouls, it's about a systematic problem where the league's brightest stars, the ones bringing in millions of new fans, are actually being targeted more aggressively than ever before. And the officials, they're letting it happen. Think about what this means for Caitlin Clark specifically. At Iowa, she was untouchable, breaking records and selling out arenas with her incredible range and court vision. She averaged 28.4 points per game in her final college season and led the nation in assists with 8.9 per game. But in the WNBA, those numbers don't automatically translate. Sophie revealed that defenders in the pros aren't just better, they're allowed to be more physical, more aggressive, and more punishing than anything Caitlin faced in college. Every night, she's facing players who were once the best in their programs, all fighting for limited roster spots and willing to do whatever it takes to shut down the league's newest sensation. The financial reality makes this even more shocking. WNBA salaries range from $64,000 to $242,000 per year. When Sophie gets fined $1,500 for speaking out, that's real money coming out of her pocket, money that could cover rent or groceries. Yet she keeps talking because she believes the truth needs to be heard. And the truth she's revealing about Caitlin Clark's situation is that the young star isn't just taking time off, she's strategically preparing for a league that's become more demanding than ever before. What makes Sophie's comments even more powerful is her own credibility within the league. She joined the Indiana Fever in 2025 after spending 6 successful seasons with the Phoenix Mercury, where she became known for her three-point shooting and defensive intensity. She's not some bench warmer looking for attention. She's a proven veteran who's seen firsthand how the league operates, and she's risking her own career to expose what's really happening. The reaction to Sophie's bombshell has been swift and divided. Some fans are praising her for finally saying what everyone's been thinking, while others are accusing her of making excuses for Caitlyn. But here's what those critics are missing. Sophie isn't making excuses. She's sounding an alarm about a league that might be pushing its players too hard, too fast, and without proper support systems in place. Consider the bigger picture here. The WNBA is experiencing unprecedented growth, largely thanks to stars like Caitlin Clark bringing in new audiences. Television ratings for Fever games increased by over 300% when Caitlyn joined the team. Merchandise sales hit record highs. Season ticket sales exploded. But all that success comes with pressure. And Sophie's suggesting that pressure might be crushing the very players who are supposed to be lifting the league to new heights. The physical toll Sophie described goes beyond just hard fouls and aggressive defense. She talked about players needing what she called armor just to get through a season. This isn't hyperbole. WNBA players regularly deal with injuries that would sideline athletes in other leagues for weeks. But here, they're expected to play through pain because roster spots are so limited and competition is so fierce. Missing games doesn't just mean losing playing time, it could mean losing your job entirely. Sophie also touched on something that most fans don't realize: the mental exhaustion that comes with competing at this level. Every possession matters, every mistake is magnified. For someone like Caitlin Clark, who came into the league with enormous expectations and a target on her back, that mental pressure is multiplied tenfold. Sophie revealed that veterans have told her they've never seen a rookie face the kind of defensive schemes and physical play that Caitlin encountered in her first season. But here's where Sophie's revelation gets really interesting. She suggested that Caitlin could already be playing in other leagues around the world. European leagues, for example, offer competitive basketball with less physical play and often better financial packages when you factor in housing and other benefits. The fact that Caitlyn is choosing to prepare for the WNBA instead of taking an easier path overseas shows her commitment to the league, but it also highlights just how demanding the WNBA has become. The comparison Sophie made between the WNBA and rugby wasn't just colorful language. She was describing a fundamental shift in how the game is being played and officiated. In recent years, the league has allowed more contact, supposedly to increase competitiveness and excitement, but Sophie's arguing that it's gone too far, creating an environment where skill and finesse are being overshadowed by brute force and intimidation tactics. This brings us to the controversial topic of officiating that Sophie has been fined for discussing multiple times. She's not just complaining about bad calls, she's exposing what she sees as a deliberate choice by the league to let certain types of physical play go unpunished. And when it comes to stars like Caitlin Clark, who rely on spacing and shooting to be effective, this kind of officiating can completely neutralize their game. Sophie's comments also shed light on why we haven't heard much from Caitlin herself during this extended break. While some have criticized her for being too quiet or not engaging with fans enough, Sophie's revelation suggests Caitlyn is doing exactly what she needs to do. She's taking the time to physically and mentally prepare for a league that won't give her any breaks just because she's a star. In fact, being a star makes her an even bigger target. The implications of Sophie's bombshell extend far beyond just Caitlin Clark's situation. If the WNBA has become so demanding that even its most talented players need extended breaks just to survive, what does that mean for the league's future? How many potential stars will choose easier paths overseas or simply retire early rather than endure the punishment? Sophie's raising questions that the league doesn't want to answer, but they're questions that need to be asked. What's particularly striking about Sophie's revelation is how it contradicts the official narrative we've been hearing. League officials and team management have been presenting Caitlyn's absence as a normal off-season break, nothing to worry about, but Sophie's comments suggest there's genuine concern about whether the current style of play is sustainable for players, especially those who aren't built for rugby-style contact. The timing of Sophie joining the Fever in 2025 adds another layer to this story. She's now Caitlyn's teammate, giving her unique insight into what the young star is going through, and the fact that she's willing to speak out, knowing it could cost her more fines or even impact her standing with the team, shows just how serious she believes this issue is. Sophie also revealed something that should concern every WNBA fan. The league's most exciting players, the ones who bring creativity and flair to the game, are being systematically targeted and worn down by overly physical play. This isn't just about protecting stars. It's about preserving the style of basketball that fans actually want to watch. Nobody tunes in to see their favorite players getting hammered every time they touch the ball. The financial implications of what Sophie exposed are staggering. If stars like Caitlin Clark can't stay healthy or choose to play overseas where they're treated better, the WNBA risks losing the momentum it's built over the past few years. Sponsors want to see star players on the court, television networks need marquee matchups to justify their investments, and fans, especially the millions of new fans Caitlin brought to the league, won't stick around if their favorite players are constantly injured or absent. But perhaps the most shocking part of Sophie's revelation is what it says about the league's priorities. By allowing this level of physicality and not protecting its stars, the WNBA seems to be choosing short-term competitiveness over long-term growth. It's a strategy that Sophie clearly believes is backfiring, and she's putting her money where her mouth is by continuing to speak out despite the fines. The response from other players has been telling. While few have spoken publicly in support of Sophie, private messages and subtle social media posts suggest many agree with her assessment. They're just not willing to risk the fines and potential backlash that comes with speaking truth to power. This makes Sophie's willingness to be the voice of reason even more valuable and important. As we wait for Caitlin Clark's eventual return, Sophie's revelation forces us to watch with different eyes. When Caitlin does step back on the court, we'll be looking for signs of how she's adapted to the brutal reality Sophie described. Has she bulked up to handle the contact? Has she developed new strategies to create space against hyper-aggressive defenders? Or will she struggle against a level of physicality that even her immense talent can't overcome? Sophie Cunningham has done something remarkable here. She's pulled back the curtain on a league that's been trying to have it both ways, promoting its stars while allowing them to be punished on the court. Her revelation about Caitlin Clark isn't just about one player's journey. It's about the future of women's basketball and whether the WNBA can find a balance between competition and entertainment, between toughness and skill. The question now is whether the league will listen to voices like Sophie's or continue down a path that might be driving away the very players who could take it to the next level. One thing's for certain, Sophie Cunningham won't stop speaking truth no matter how many fines they throw at her. And for fans who want to understand what's really happening in the WNBA, her voice might be the most important one to follow. If this revelation shocked you as much as it shocked us, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next exclusive story. Drop a comment below with your thoughts on Sophie's bombshell. Is the WNBA too physical? Should they protect stars like Caitlin Clark more? We read every comment and your input shapes our future content. Until next time, keep questioning the narrative and demanding the truth.